this or not. I probably should, otherwise I can't see my cue cards. Well, welcome to the Ann Arnold Memorial Concert. She gave us strict orders. By the way, my name's Kerry Arnold. A lot of y'all who went to church with Nano and Papa don't know that they had a third son, a third child, a second son. I'm Kerry, Kevin and Carol's brother. But anyway, she told us that she wanted this to be a happy occasion, and she wanted this to be a celebration. And so we want to make sure that's exactly what this is. This is a celebration of a life that she was one of the sweetest people that any of us have ever known. And, you know, she was not only ready to go, she was excited about going on to meet those who had gone on before her. And she, what you have to remember is that she has a new body. One where she is, you know, this is a great place to live, but this can't compare to the streets of gold, where she is running and breathing and seeing all the friends and loved ones who have gone on before her. You know, I was thinking that it's good. We have to go by what she said. She laid out the instructions. She laid out all the instructions of how this was supposed to go, and you know, we had to abide by that, because otherwise, I think it'd probably be the first time the word "darn" has ever been spoken in heaven. Because I can just hear her now. I told him to sing that darn song about so and so. Well, when she was in the hospital and she told us about all these songs that she wanted sung, I said, "Mom, you don't really want all those songs." Yes, I do. And they don't have to sing every verse. They can sing a verse and a chorus. But I want all of them. I want all of them sung. So we'll have a nice intermission, and no, really, we're not going to be here long. But she did want me to welcome everybody and just to tell you a little bit about her. And you know what? She had talked about going on to meet Betty and Tina and AC and all those who had gone on before her. And we were at the hospital the day that she died. After that, we headed home. And on the way home, I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but on the way home, I thought to myself, I said, I wonder if that's really real. I wonder if heaven is really real, if there really is a heaven. Well, it's the first time I've ever heard my Savior's voice audibly, but I'm telling you, his presence was so real to me, I could almost feel his breath on my cheek. And he whispered in my ear, he said, "In my Father's house, there are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you." I said, "Yeah, okay, I'm sorry I doubted that for just a second." And then he said, John 14:2. Well, I didn't even know that was John 14:2. I looked it up, and he was right. Imagine that. He wrote it. So, but a lot of you who went to church with Nano, y'all knew what I like to call the mellow Nano. And she was a great lady. You didn't really know the younger Nano, but you know Carol. Okay, need I say any more? Carol is a miniature Nano. One of the greatest stories I heard about Mom was when Mom and Dad were dating, and one of Dad's friends, Miles, brought his girlfriend over to the house, and they were going to play cards. And Jack was a big card player. And so he was trying to go through how to play poker. He was trying to explain they were going to play penny ante poker. And he was trying to explain to Mom how to play and all this kind of stuff. What he didn't know was she was a card shark. And he said, "Here, how about you shuffle?" Well, she did, like a Las Vegas dealer. And she served the cards out there, and she took all of his money that night. And they had to let him borrow a quarter so he could get his way home that night for bus fare. So she was a card shark, and she was a pistol, and you know, she was a pruitt, but she picked up on the Arnold warped sense of humor pretty quick. What she would do is Dad always liked to help out around the house, And she would wait until she had some old chicken parts or some old gravy or something nasty, put that in the top of the trash can, and then say, "Bob, would you mind taking the trash out?" He has he says that he's got a weak stomach. He says he can heave it as far as anybody. But he had a weak stomach, and so she just did that so she could hear him heave all the way to the street. That's the truth. And she was extremely competitive, and a lot of y'all probably play Words with Friends, and I played her Words with Friends for like a couple of years. I had an iPad, and she has one, and we'd play Words with Friends, just like Scrabble, but I never beat her. And there was one time when she called me, and she said, "Well, I've only got one letter left, but I got no place to put it." And I said, "Well, you probably, just probably need to resign that game." And she said, "No, if I resign, that means I lose." I said, "Yeah, well, I'm not going to resign." So I had to resign. But this past week, Dad has started using her iPad. So this week, I got 3 little things that popped up on my iPad that said, Nano resigns. I thought, well, I beat her finally. Because Dad was resigning her games for her. In fact, I beat her 3 times this week. But I'll end my little talk this way. I'm a big Andy Griffith fan. There's a great Andy Griffith episode where Opie's taking care of 3 birds. And at the end of the episode, he lets them all go. And then he looks in the cage, and he says, "Boy, the cage looks mighty empty." And Andy Taylor says, "Yeah, but don't the trees seem nice and full?" Well, that's exactly how I feel today. When I go into Mom and Dad's house and I see that chair that's empty, I'll tell you, this old world is going to be empty to me and for a lot of us for a long, long time. But boy, doesn't heaven seem nice and full?